Have you ever felt more drained than fulfilled after a gathering? Wondering why some meetings leave you heavy-hearted instead of joyful? As we age, the quality of our connections plays an incomparably vital role in our happiness and well-being. In today's video, we'll explore the types of gatherings you should avoid to protect your peace, health, and happiness in your golden years. Stay with us until the end, as we'll dive into the exact types of gatherings that may be doing you more harm than good, and offer practical ways to make choices that truly support a fulfilling, joyful retirement. Let's make every moment count by building connections that lift us. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you could like this video to help me continue spreading these valuable lessons about aging. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you do so and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming content. If you like this video, please comment 1 below, and if you don't, comment 0 to let me know how I can improve. Now let's get started. One of the types of gatherings to avoid as we age are those that provoke conflicts stemming from envy and jealousy. The complexity of human relationships often intensifies with time, revealing how emotional wounds can deepen as we navigate through life. A poignant example comes from a successful businessman I recently heard about, who made the difficult decision to stop attending his high school reunion after participating for over 3 decades. Initially, he would miss a few gatherings simply due to the demands of his busy schedule. However, this absence eventually transformed into a deliberate choice to withdraw from the group. At first, he perceived that his friends were genuinely welcoming him, especially since his business was thriving. Yet as time passed, a subtle shift in the atmosphere became apparent. The same friends who once celebrated his successes began to express expectations that felt burdensome, such as suggesting he pay more dues to the reunion fund, or even cover meal costs due to their financial struggles. One particular friend even made a remark that insinuated a wish for his business to fail, which was both jarring and disheartening. Such experiences are by no means isolated. They resonate with findings from a survey conducted by the Seoul National University's Institute of Gerontology, which revealed that a staggering 67% of respondents aged 60 and over reported encountering envy and jealousy from friends or acquaintances. These emotions can easily spiral into conflicts, emphasizing the need for us to establish and nurture relationships with greater care and intention. The issue often escalates after retirement, when major life achievements have been reached. Individuals may find themselves comparing their lives to those of their peers more frequently. A friend's success can trigger feelings of relative deprivation, leading to a detrimental cycle of dismissal or gossip about their achievements. For instance, during a recent conversation, I shared a story about my grandchild only to have the atmosphere shift abruptly to one of discomfort. I later learned that a friend, whose children had yet to marry, felt hurt by my seemingly innocent remarks, which I had not anticipated would affect him negatively. In the aftermath, he told others that I was merely trying to show off, illustrating how easily misunderstandings can arise from such sensitive comparisons. Psychologists refer to this troubling phenomenon as relative deprivation syndrome in old age, where the inclination to compare oneself to others becomes more pronounced as we age. The negative emotions that stem from these comparisons can significantly harm our relationships, creating unnecessary rifts and tension. So, what can we do to navigate this minefield? Experts suggest that we should thoughtfully distance ourselves from gatherings that foster feelings of envy and jealousy. This is not merely a selfish choice, but rather a form of consideration and respect for one another's experiences and emotions. Ultimately, what truly matters is cultivating an understanding atmosphere, where we can be mindful of each other's situations and feelings, fostering healthier, more supportive connections as we age. Another type of gathering we must carefully reconsider as we age are those centered around alcohol. Recently, a 65-year-old man named Kim Wo confided in me about his experience with such gatherings. At first, he found pleasure in attending these events, enjoying a drink or two while socializing. However, as time passed, he realized that these gatherings left him feeling hurt and emotionally drained, despite having maintained this tradition with former colleagues for over 3 decades. Now, Kim approaches these events with a sense of fear and apprehension. How did it come to this? On the surface, Gatherings revolving around sharing old memories over drinks may seem warm and inviting. Yet as we age, these gatherings can often have detrimental effects on our health and relationships. At the last gathering I attended, I shared that I was taking medication for high blood pressure, only to be ridiculed for expressing my inability to drink because of it. Eventually, the pressure from the group led me to succumb, and I found myself drinking that night, which resulted in a trip to the emergency room. This raises an important question. Where else can we unwind if not over drinks? This concern becomes even more pronounced after retirement, as the absence of morning commutes allows drinking sessions to extend longer than they might have in the past. Conversations during these extended hours often drift toward topics that might not be discussed in more sober circumstances. When alcohol is involved, old stories tend to resurface: who received a promotion, who was responsible for hindering whom, and unfortunately, these discussions often lead to hurt feelings that linger long after the gathering has ended. Although we may feel regret the next day, the cycle continues, and we find ourselves drawn back into the same pattern. Drinking gatherings can leave not just emotional scars but also significant health risks. As we age, our bodies become less equipped to process alcohol effectively. Our liver function declines, making it more challenging to manage blood pressure and other health concerns. For those of us on medication, interactions with alcohol can be dangerously life-threatening. Indeed, statistics show that over half of the incidents of excessive drinking among seniors aged 65 and older occur after social gatherings. Despite the dangers, more than 60% of individuals still choose to attend these same gatherings. One might wonder, why not simply refrain from attending? The answer is not so straightforward, as severing long-standing connections can be a painful and complex process. So, what alternatives do we have? Fortunately, there are numerous types of gatherings that can serve as healthy substitutes for drinking. For instance, gatherings for coffee after morning walks provide a chance to connect over a warm beverage rather than alcohol. There are hiking groups that meet regularly on weekends, or even art classes where participants can enjoy tea while engaging in creative activities together. Initially, there may have been skepticism about whether it was possible to enjoy gatherings without alcohol, but many have discovered that these alternatives can lead to deeper, more meaningful conversations and allow for a refreshing sense of clarity the next day, free from regrets. Through this shift, we have cultivated a deeper understanding of one another. Now is the time to make a conscious choice. We can build fulfilling relationships without relying on alcohol. Conversations shared with clear minds foster connections that are genuine and enriching, paving the way for healthier social experiences as we continue to grow older. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment one below to let me know you're still with me. Thank you for your valuable time. As we age, it becomes increasingly important to be mindful of the types of gatherings we choose to attend. One category of gatherings we should avoid involves those with energy-draining individuals. Have you ever left a social event only to feel suddenly exhausted, emotionally depleted, or mentally drained? This sensation is often caused by what are known as energy vampires, individuals who, without intending to, deplete your emotional and mental energy. I recently spoke with a 68-year-old woman named Lee Eun-young, who shared her experience with a challenging friendship she had developed with someone she met at a local senior college. Initially, Lee saw this individual as someone who lived life with enthusiasm and diligence. However, over time, she began to notice how this person left her feeling emotionally drained. According to a study conducted by the Institute of Gerontology at Seoul National University, a staggering 78% of seniors over the age of 65 report feeling emotionally exhausted after attending gatherings they regularly participate in. This emotional exhaustion can go far beyond simple fatigue, potentially leading to anxiety, depression, and other serious health concerns. Energy-draining individuals often exhibit certain traits that make them easy to identify. They dominate conversations, focusing only on themselves. For example, during one of my own conversations, I opened up about a recent hospitalization I had undergone. only for the discussion to quickly shift to this person's grandchild's achievements. My concerns seem to vanish into the background. Another characteristic is the tendency to bring up negative topics, often discussing misfortunes or the struggles of others. Research by the Health Insurance Corporation shows that prolonged exposure to negative conversations can significantly harm one's immune system and increase the risk of depression. These individuals often show little regard for the feelings of others, especially when boasting about their children's or grandchildren's successes. For instance, while a friend may be facing challenges like job searching or personal struggles, these individuals might brag about their own child's career success, completely unaware of how their words may affect those around them. As we age, our mental and physical energy becomes more limited. Therefore, it's crucial to be discerning about the company we keep. Engaging in relationships with those who consistently drain us can not only lead to persistent fatigue, but can also result in more serious health issues, including depression and insomnia. So, how can we protect ourselves? The first step is to be honest with ourselves about how we feel after attending a gathering. If you find yourself feeling emotionally burdened or exhausted, it may be time to create some distance from these energy-draining individuals and seek the company of those who uplift and support you. Next, consider avoiding gatherings that involve people who lack dignity. Dignity becomes increasingly important as we age, serving as a cornerstone of our interactions. However, there are those who, despite advancing in age, fail to uphold the essential qualities of respect and dignity. I recently heard from 71-year-old Lee Uni, who decided to leave a club she had been part of for over a decade. She initially perceived a fellow member as straightforward, but as time passed, she realized that this individual lacked basic courtesy and respect for others. A study conducted by the Korean Elderly Welfare Association found that undignified behavior ranks as the third most common source of stress for older adults. Such stress can lead to serious health issues, including elevated blood pressure and weakened immunity. Individuals who lack dignity often belittle others in public settings, creating a toxic atmosphere. For example, at one gathering, a member ridiculed another for their modest attire, publicly humiliating them. These individuals also prioritize their convenience over others, changing meeting times or locations without considering anyone else's preferences. Furthermore, those who lack dignity tend to indiscriminately share private information. I once shared a personal health concern with a friend, only to have this person carelessly disclose it to others, disregarding my privacy. This breach of trust can create discomfort and make it difficult to communicate openly in future gatherings. As we grow older, we are expected to cultivate wisdom and dignity, yet some individuals seem to regress into ignorance, a phenomenon sometimes referred to as late life syndrome. As our capacity for self-control diminishes with age, previously suppressed emotions may surface more easily, leading to undignified behavior. Such behaviors can quickly ruin the atmosphere of an entire gathering, straining relationships that may have been built over many years. At first, we may think we should be understanding, as they are older, but the frequency and severity of their rude behavior can escalate, eventually driving others away and causing long-term damage to relationships. The solution? We must make the difficult decision to end our participation in gatherings where undignified behavior persists. This isn't a selfish choice, but rather a necessary one to protect our mental and emotional well-being. Instead, we should seek gatherings that foster mutual respect, where dignity and consideration are upheld. As we grow older, it's crucial to surround ourselves with people who respect and support us. By prioritizing gatherings that promote dignity and kindness, we can create a more enriching and fulfilling environment, enhancing our experiences in the later stages of life. If you are still watching this video and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're still with me. Thank you for section. Soon devolved into a chaotic environment where the essence of these gatherings was lost. As the number of voices competing for attention grew, it became increasingly difficult to engage in meaningful discussions. Conversations, which once delved deeply into each other's lives, were now fragmented. Instead of engaging in thoughtful exchanges, the gatherings felt like a whirlwind of superficial interactions. There were so many voices that it became impossible to truly connect. What had once been an intimate and personal experience now felt diluted. Additionally, as the group grew, the logistics of managing the gathering began to change. We found ourselves electing presidents, collecting fees, and mandating participation in volunteer activities. What was once a relaxed and informal setting was now structured, with expectations and responsibilities that stifled the very spirit that had made these gatherings enjoyable. As the gatherings expanded, so did the likelihood of divisions forming, leading to tension among members. Disputes over leadership roles and differing opinions on group decisions began to erode the sense of unity. The once unified group now found itself divided, with some members taking sides, creating an uncomfortable atmosphere. Experts highlight that as gatherings grow larger, the complexity of human relationships increases, leading to heightened stress, which can be especially burdensome for our mental health as we age. Financial pressures also mount, as the costs associated with large gatherings escalate. Participation fees, group outings, and volunteer activities add up, putting a strain on fixed incomes. For many, these financial burdens can become overwhelming, adding yet another layer of stress. So, how can we navigate these challenges? Experts recommend that, as we grow older, it is essential to cultivate deeper, more meaningful relationships with a select group of true friends. Sharing authentic connections in smaller gatherings is not only better for our mental health, but also enhances our overall quality of life. The key is to preserve the essence of these gatherings, ensuring that the warmth and sincerity we once enjoyed remain intact. Sometimes, this may require the courage to let go of larger groups and return to the intimacy of smaller circles where genuine connection thrives. These smaller gatherings offer a space where our spirits can truly flourish, free from the distractions and complications that come with larger, more chaotic settings. As we grow older, the value of meaningful, authentic connections becomes even more apparent. It's crucial to surround ourselves with people who lift us up, not drain us. This approach not only enhances our well-being, but also allows us to truly savor the time we have in this stage of life. Moving on to the sixth type of gathering to avoid, it's important to recognize the gatherings that impose unnecessary financial burdens on us. There is often a hidden catch when something is presented as free. For example, I once encountered what seemed like a fantastic offer, a free trip to a hot spring. Excited by the prospect, I later found myself cornered into purchasing a health product that cost an eye-watering $2 million. This cautionary tale is shared by many seniors, like 76-year-old Kim Jong-hae, who suffered significant financial losses due to a senior group trip presented as an innocent outing. Statistics reveal that the amount of fraud targeting seniors has skyrocketed in recent years, with financial losses exceeding 70 billion won. Many of these losses stem from gatherings marketed as free events. Scammers have become increasingly sophisticated in their tactics, making it crucial for seniors to stay vigilant. One common method involves gatherings that advertise free health checkups, promising complimentary tests for blood pressure and diabetes. These events seem harmless enough, but the real agenda becomes clear once attendees undergo the tests. They are then subjected to aggressive sales tactics, pressuring them to purchase expensive medical devices. Another deceptive tactic involves free trips, often labeled as filial piety tours. These events promise a delightful getaway, complete with delicious meals, only to turn into a coerced shopping spree. Participants are whisked away to promotional events where they find themselves confronted with hefty bills for health products. A third tactic involves gatherings disguised as religious or volunteer events. These may initially seem like opportunities for community service, but they often pivot to discussions about donations. Participants can end up unknowingly committing to financial obligations that they never intended. The consequences of falling victim to these scams can be devastating, especially for seniors living on fixed incomes. Financial losses can have a significant impact on retirement funds, which are often the result of a lifetime of hard work. In many cases, Victims struggle to recover from these losses, particularly if they have signed contracts that are non-refundable. So, how can we protect ourselves from these financial traps? Experts recommend approaching any gathering that claims to be free with a healthy dose of skepticism. It's essential to refuse to attend events that pressure you into making purchases. Never agree to participate in gatherings that demand immediate decisions or financial commitments. Before making any major financial decision, consult with trusted family or friends. And, most importantly, cultivate the habit of saying no. If you're feeling pressured, simply saying, "I need to think about it," and taking some time to make a decision is always a wise move. In our later years, we are no longer obligated to attend gatherings out of duty or external pressure. This stage of life is an opportunity to make informed, thoughtful decisions that benefit us, rather than detract from our well-being. We should prioritize gatherings that bring joy, foster genuine connections, and enhance our lives, while avoiding those that impose financial or emotional burdens. Thank you for watching. Reflecting on the types of gatherings we choose to attend, take a moment to think about one insight that resonated with you today. How might you apply this wisdom to your own life? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please share one takeaway in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to stay connected with more valuable content. Here's to making wise choices that lead to happier, more fulfilling years ahead. Thank you for your time.